back here on Primetime Pregame, taking a look at the NFC South. Bucs in first place at 6-3, heavy favorites to win the division. The Panthers not too far behind, but odds makers are basically telling you it's really not as close as you think. And then there's just the Falcons and the Saints. With that, we bring in Mike McClure to do a little fortune telling for us. Mike, let's start with the Bucs. Currently first in the South. We saw that at 6-3. Injuries a recurring problem for them. Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin, both limited today at practice. However, one of the easiest schedules remaining according to opponent win total percentages. When you look at the rest of the schedule, what do you see happening for them the rest of the way?
You know, I think it's still a lot of optimism here when you look at the schedule. I'm going to call it 5-3. When I look at the schedule here, you know, I think that the next few games are difficult, right? It's at Buffalo and at the Rams. I think they might drop both of those games, but that is when I think that things change. I think they go on a little run. I have them winning against the Cardinals and Saints in back-to-back home games. A tight one on Thursday Night Football, short turnaround against the Falcons. I'm going to say they lose that one, but then they win out to finish the season. And what a way to finish the season for them when you talk about 2 games against the Carolina Panthers and 1 against the Miami Dolphins in week 17 with very little to play for at that point. So I'm going to say they still have some success here and go 5-3 the rest of the way.
So I guess if you were looking to bet their win total or hoping to still get a price on the divisional odds, then maybe wait if you think they drop the next few games and that's the time to bet them.
Yeah, I would certainly wait. If you're looking to bet anything positively on Tampa Bay, I would wait until after the Bills and the Rams game. And now when you wait, of course, there is the risk that they have success, win those games, and you unfortunately miss the number and don't get to participate. But I think that a great scenario for them would be 1-1. I think they drop both of them, so I would wait and then bet them at that point.
All right, let's go the opposite end of the spectrum here. The Panthers have the toughest schedule remaining based off of opponent win percentages. They're coming off a loss to the Saints as 5.5-point home favorites. Before that, though, Mike, they had won 4 of 5. How do you see the rest of the schedule turning out for them?
Yeah, they'd won 4 of 5, and, you know, I think that was probably a little more luck than actually true result, in my opinion. I'm going 1-6 the rest of the way. I know that sounds brutal, but it really is that strength of schedule kind of that you mentioned here. I think they're going to lose that game at the Falcons. Then they play at the 49ers, cross-country travel there in prime time. I think that's a very difficult game for them. And then ultimately, I think they lose a third in the row against the Rams, right in front of their bye week. Then I think they have that bye week, they regroup, they beat the Saints like they probably should have, and then that's where it gets ugly. They're going to lose to Tampa Bay, they're going to lose to the Seahawks, and then they're going to lose to Tampa Bay again in week 18. So it's not pretty for them. Yes, they had a good little run. I have them finishing 1-6 the rest of the way.
1-6. So I was going to say their win total's at 7.5 plus 140 to the over. I thought that was a value play, but no.
No, not for me. Look, it's a very difficult schedule here. And once they lose that 3 in a row right in front of the bye week when they're essentially eliminated from contention, I'll be fading Carolina here the rest of the way.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk the Falcons then. They nearly won in Berlin to take down the Colts, but they didn't. So they extended their losing streak to 4 games. They have one of the softer schedules the rest of the way. How many more wins do you see for this squad?
I'm going to go all the way up to 5 here. Look, I think that this team is certainly better than that record indicates. They've had a couple, performances where they should have won games, but they had also a couple performances where they just flat out did not show up. Thinking about that, game against the Panthers, losing 30-0, just absolutely embarrassing there. But the talent is there. The schedule is there. You look at the schedule here: Panthers, Saints, Jets, 3 in a row. That's as easy as it gets in the National Football League. I think they take care of business in that stretch. I'll have them losing to the Seahawks. They win 1 against the Tampa Bay Bucks, and then they close out and win the Cardinals there. I think that this is a 5-1 the rest of the way.
All right, so that one, we are getting some good plus money over 7.5 at plus 145. That's a play you would make.
Yeah, I would be on that at that point. Yep.
Okay, all right, I'm locking it in. The Saints have a bye this week. They're coming off their 2nd win of the season. How should Saints fans feel when looking at their post-bye schedule?
They should feel like losing games may not be a bad thing at this point. Let's talk about draft picks here, Claudia. That's really where this team would be focused. As far as how they go, maybe 2-4 in that little stretch, 2-5. Like it's not pretty for them. Like the only games that I think are truly winnable, that they'll have a great shot and really fight and compete in, would be week 16 and 17 against the Jets and Titans back to back. Every other game here, I think they're ultimately just going to come up short in this particular spot. So I think they get maybe 2 more wins, land as a 4-win team this season.
Yeah, and market has it right around there. 4.5, juice -120 to the over. Can we bring the division odds back up? I just want to sort of do a full circle here. So obviously the Bucs are the heavy favorite. You said maybe wait. If they lose the next few games, you can get a better price. Is there any chance you bet the Panthers right now at 8-1? Is there any value there, or you think this is really the Bucs to lose?
It's the Bucs to lose, and I would wait on all fronts. Like, look, I think Tampa could lose the next 2 games to the Buffalo Bills and the Rams, but when you look at Carolina, 5-5, they're definitely worse than the Atlanta Falcons, but the schedule coming up, again, that is what's key here. I think they're going to lose to the Falcons, 49ers, and Rams 3 in a row, eliminating from the contention in the division. So it's definitely the Bucs. I would wait, though, and see if you can catch just a slightly better number if they slip up in one of the next 2.
All right, Mike, stick around. We'll be back with you after the break because our NFL talk continues. Let's take a look at those NFC South games for this Sunday. The Falcons laying 3.5 against the Panthers, and then the Bills looking for a big bounce back. So are the Bucs, though. Bucs coming off a loss as well, but the Patriots were a legit team. The Bills have a lot to bounce back for. You can catch those in week 11.